Are you thinking of moving to Bothell, Washington, but you don't know if it's the right fit for you? Well, stay tuned. This video, I'm going to talk about 5 things that you should know before moving to Bothell, Washington. What's up, everybody? My name is Tova Williamson. I'm a local real estate agent in the Seattle metro area. And on this channel, I shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in the Seattle metro area. So if those are videos you want more of, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you'll be notified every time a new video comes on. We get reach outs all the time from people moving here, wanting to buy houses. We absolutely love hearing from you, but we can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle. So today in this video, I am talking about Bothell, which is a suburb that is just kind of like northeast of Seattle. Here is Bothell, kind of this red highlighted area. So you've got Seattle here, you've got Bellevue, the east side here. So it sits just kind of like northeast of Seattle and just north of like Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond area. So that's where Bothell is. And so we're going to go over some of the like 5 kind of cons or things that you should be aware of before moving to Bothell to see if this is the right place for you. So number 1 thing that we're going to talk about is traffic. So again, it's no secret that the Seattle metro area has bad traffic. It's kind of like that everywhere. Bothell's no exception. Just based on where it sits on that map that I showed you, it's not super close to freeways. I-5 is still kind of a good journey over, same 405 on the other side of the freeway. So sometimes you're driving like 15, 20, 25 minutes to just even get on the freeway. I'm going to pull this up again so you can see. But I mean, here's Bothell, 405, it kind of straddles 405, but if you live around in here and you're trying to get to I-5 to get into Seattle, I mean, it like you can just see these roads. There's not a bunch of straight shots. So you either got to go down here on 522 and get over. So it can just kind of be like rough going. Traffic into Seattle, same with Bellevue, 405 is a notoriously bad freeway. So it's not ideal. Traffic's always going to be an issue. If you work from home, that's kind of better. But I will say Bothell is kind of sits between Seattle and Bellevue. So sometimes people, if they're, in a couple unit and they're moving to the area and one person works in Seattle, one person works in Bothell, it can be kind of a good in between. But otherwise, traffic's just not great there, as is with anywhere. But Bothell can be pretty bad for getting into Seattle and Bellevue. So number 2 thing that might be kind of a bad thing for people is there's not a huge nightlife in Bothell. Some people, they might not care. They might want that. It's definitely more of like a quiet suburb, more family oriented. It's not necessarily like clubs and crazy goings and single and ready to mingle. It's just a little bit more quiet, mellow. So again, might not be a con. Some people might like that, but if you're looking for that nightlife and ready to party, Bothell's probably not going to be your place, or you're going to be like going into the city to get that lifestyle. Number 3 thing that is kind of rough in Bothell is the houses are expensive. It's definitely not a cheap place to live. It used to be a more like affordable area to move to. A lot of people would move to Bothell, like moving out of Seattle because Seattle was getting so expensive. And now Bothell has just it's blown up over the last few years. It sits, like I showed you, right where it sits. I think part of it is people wanting to live on the east side. The east side is notoriously expensive. So then people were going to Bothell to get away from the expenses of the east side, but still being kind of close to that area. And also a part of Bothell is in the North Shore School District, which is a very desirable school district to be in. So a lot of people opted to move up to Bothell, still be in that really desirable school district, but then housing at the time was a little bit less expensive. Now, I mean, it's crazy. The median sales price in Bothell is just over $1 million for single family homes. Condos, you're looking at about $703,000. There's a lot of new construction going on in Bothell, more townhouses and newer like housing developments where things are packed a lot closer together. But it's gotten expensive over the years because it's just a pretty desirable place to be as far as proximity to both Seattle Bellevue and the school district. So we've seen prices go up really a lot in Bothell, which is always surprises me when I look at the median price there. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you can't handle those higher prices, Bothell just may not be the right place for you. Number 4 thing to think about is Bothell is very car centric. It's not the most walkable area like I showed on the map before. It's a lot of bigger streets. There's the kind of downtown area of Bothell, which is a little more walkable. They've started to kind of develop that area a little bit more townhouses and little coffee shops right around. But otherwise, it's pretty kind of just remote and far away, and it's going to be very car centric. Show you in the map here, just zooming in. This is like the downtown Bothell area. And if you're immediately in this area, it can be pretty walkable. But then once you get out even a little bit from there, it's just pretty far out and wider streets. So that's just something to think about if you're looking for like that more urban kind of walkable place. Bothell's probably not going to be your place to be unless you're right in that downtown area. And another thing too to keep in mind, the light rail is being built along I-5, like up north and down south. So the light rail is not going to come over to Bothell. They have some buses that they'll have connect over into Shoreline to get on the light rail down. But so public transportation is not super great. It's not terrible, but it's just not the most efficient way to get around in Bothell. You're really going to be car centric there. So if you're looking for a more walkable kind of lifestyle, Bothell may not be the place for you. So number 5 thing to think about before moving to Bothell is the weather. Just like with any place, the whole Pacific Northwest, we're known for rain and gloomy days. Again, Bothell's no exception. Still rains a lot. We get that gray gloom from about November to February, March, April, May, maybe. It just kind of depends. So you really have to be prepared for that gloomy, colder, gray weather days, especially in the winter. So that's just something to prepare yourself. One thing too about Bothell, a lot of the houses, a lot of the homes are on larger lots there, and it's really wooded kind of in a lot of the areas of Bothell. So some of the homes are just sitting under these big pine trees, and it's just really dark in general. And then when it's gray and cloudy, it's like even darker. So that's just something to think about when you are looking at the area. Is the weather is not ideal. There's really like no place in the Pacific Northwest. It's all kind of the same weather. But something to think about if you are looking and you're dealing with this cooler weather and gray weather is finding a house that's maybe has a little more good natural light versus being like shaded in the trees. So those are some of the 5 things that you should be aware of before moving to Bothell. If you're thinking about moving to Bothell or anywhere else in the Seattle metro area, give us a call, email, text. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.